NBC 10 at Issue.
NBC 10 at Issue continues with Charles Mitchell, Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the Commonwealth Foundation, and Wendell Young, the 4th President of United Food and Commercial Workers Union Local 1776, representing union workers at state stores. The State Senate is a place where touchy House bills often go to die. And so we don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks or by the end of the year. But there are already rumblings that if anything comes out, it isn't going to look like that. And there are some people that say, hey, just change the LCB system. So let me start with a litmus test. Should privatizing the state store system become this year a litmus test of whether you're a conservative politician?
It has nothing to do, Steve, with whether you're a conservative politician.
So no.
It has something to do with whether you understand economic reality and free markets. It's not conservative.
Economic reality in a moment. In terms of politics in this, do you see that the fact that Democrats entirely oppose this in the House, that the merits of this aren't being discussed, this is all political?
The merits weren't discussed. There were hearings over the past 2.5 years on privatization, but not on this bill. In fact, what was really insulting to the people of Pennsylvania is anybody that watched the 8.5 hours debate last Thursday saw that the maker of the bill did not answer one question posed to him. The chairman, John Taylor from Philadelphia here, the Liquor Committee, couldn't answer most of the questions that members in the chamber asked.
All right,
had to rely
let me get to one of the things that I've heard this past week, and that is that the state Senate will seriously consider changing the LCB's practices so that the hours will be longer, that there will be more stores open on Sunday. There might be more stores, for example. Beer distributors might be given more license to serve wine, for example. If those things happen, aren't they becoming more like private stores? And so the very things that you're concerned about stopping might happen, if you're right in that they would happen, by just the liberalization of the LCB's policy.
Well, there is a number of different kinds of proposals under the banner called modernization that have been talked about in the Senate. There's been some hearings. I'm not in favor of all those proposals, but most of them I am, and I think it'll go a long way to help the system continue to evolve. Right now...
You don't think there'll be a problem then, if you just liberalize the LCB system, that this more making of alcohol more available?
I agree with what Senator Joe Scarnati, leader in the Senate, said 2 years ago, and has continued to say that we ought to take the handcuffs off the PLCB and let them do more to better serve the customers and make more money for Pennsylvanians.
Charles Mitchell.
Steve, what Wendell just said is extremely important. Wendell just said, while he's not for every modernization proposal, he's for modernization. This is the same thing. We're saying the debate is not over whether we want to have a more market-like system in Pennsylvania. The debate is over whether we want to get this government out of the business or not. So all of the things that Wendell's attacking about getting more promotion, selling more alcohol, all that sort of thing, he's saying, well, we'll have the state do that. I'm saying that's not the role of the state. It's not best done by the state. The people of Pennsylvania agree. But to get all upset about what are we going to do when you're for modernization, we already said.
A couple quick questions on that then. So let's say we go the private route and we have 1,200, 1,800 stores, somewhere in that range. Won't we need more law enforcement? And might there not be more corruption in the issuing of these licenses and who gets them that we don't have today?
Look, there is no way for there to be more corruption than in a system like we have today, Steve. And the best example of that is the Turnpike. I'm sure you're aware of the news right now, of the indictments that have gone down from the Turnpike Commission. This is what happens, not when you have evil people or anything like that, but just think of the incentives. When you've got an unelected group of folks overseeing a monopoly. That's what the Turnpike is.
Are you saying the LCB's corrupt now, from what you know?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's the kind of system in which it inexorably leads to waste and corruption, and it's obvious. You look at what's going on in the LCB.
He says that keeping it the way it is more corrupt than what we would go to.
He says that because there might be a boogeyman, which there isn't. Keeping it the way it is not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting allow it to improve. There's two people standing in the way, Governor Corbett and House Leader Mike Turzai. There's quite a few proposals that I do agree with, despite what we just heard Charles say, that'll improve the customer experience, expand locations, get PLCB what they call one-stop shops inside supermarkets to make it more convenient. There's already a number of those in the state. They're very profitable. I'm not about keeping it exactly as it is. In fact, for years, this union, for decades, has been about improving, modernizing, evolving. That's not a new concept here, and it's not being talked about now just because of the privatization push.
But I still don't understand how, if you do all that, which makes more hours and more sale available, that you then don't make more alcohol available, which then creates the problems that the side that's against privatization says would be created if there were privatization?
There's a huge difference, Steve, between allowing some of the 605 stores now that can't open on Sundays to open on Sundays, be open a few more hours on Sundays. There's a big difference between that and what is in the current proposal that just left the House. The House would expand wine and spirit sales to upwards of 30,000 locations in Pennsylvania. It's not an exaggeration. That was debated last week on the House floor. You have the potential of seeing thousands, tens of thousands of retail outlets.
And you say no significant downside if he's right on that 30,000 number.
You are not going to have liquor on every corner under this proposal, and the proposal is going to change. Wendell and I agree on that if we agree on nothing else. You're not going to have it on every corner, and you're just not. And no, you're not going to see the proliferation, and Wendell just agreed. Yes, he wants to see more hours and all those things. You're right, Steve.
More on the future of the Pennsylvania liquor control system in a moment on NBC 10 at Issue. Steve.
You're watching NBC 10 at Issue.